everybody, and welcome to another edition of Sports View. I'm Ron Cameron.
And I'm Bob Page. Our sponsors in the program, as always, Al Diedrich, Oldsmobile GMC Truck. And Uncle Al wants to remind you once again, he's got those four-wheel drives out there. Now, I know there are a lot of you who are status-seeking yuppies like Ron Cameron who need vehicles like that, especially this time of year. Go see Uncle Al. Ron will meet you out there later on this week for his great selection of four-wheel drive machines. Cattleman's Meat Center, David Roth and Company, and their new location in Hamtramck. Sports Fans Journal with Steve Eiserman on the cover, who had only 5 points, I believe, in Boston on Saturday, and played very well also in Philadelphia.
Sports Fans Journal's time. So if you want to subscribe to this red-hot magazine, red because it's red cover, you can dial this number 24 hours a day.
Get it, everybody?
Yes. 751-1818.
We also have binary computers at Woodward and 12 Mile, as Ron Cameron is fond of saying, for all your computer needs.
That means for all of your needs, whether it's computers, fixed computers, they do it all.
Whether it's what kind of computers?
Full service.
What kind of computers did you say? Fixed computers?
No, to get your computer.
Oh, to fix computers.
Yes, that's what I said.
Repair, in other words. We also have
the
Sting, John Rouser, Esley Thomas and Company, and the old Playboy Club, Top Hat Hamburgers, Ron's and my favorite eating establishment.
That's all you could afford before you went to New York.
Locations, 13 mile north of Woodward and 8 mile into Quinder. T-Com Pagers, Fred Wetzel and Company, and past the Pro-Am Sports Systems. Ron is very happy today to devote this program to his favorite sport, one of his favorite sports, soccer. And Klaus DeBoer is here. Many of you soccer fans remember Klaus. He was an assistant coach to Ken Furphy with the Express and now runs what's called the Michigan Express team. It's an all-star team, the best soccer players in Michigan from the college ranks, who will be playing the Soviets January 27th at the State Fairgrounds, and Ronnie is anxiously looking forward, he tells me, Klaus, to discussing again his favorite sport, soccer. So we'll have Klaus DeBoer up shortly.
See what happens to people when they stiff us on the show, though? You want to lead off with that?
You mentioned that the thing about Pete Manley.
It's unbelievable, this guy.
Yes.
What's he got between the ears besides sawdust, if that?
I never have, just to digress for the fans a moment here, in terms of talk about some of our philosophy setting up guests on the program.
He's stiffed.
There are a lot of guys on the Detroit sports scene who refuse to come on this program.
That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
I have no problem with that.
They haven't got the guts to come on. That's a problem.
They don't want to be asked the tough questions that we ask, or they're mad about something you've said or something that I've said, and I have no difficulty with that. Just don't tell me that you're going to do the show and then not show up.
And
no
phone
call.
You give the numbers to call.
No, nothing.
Are you too dumb to call? And then
they
call
did
over
this,
and I guess, hold on.
This guy Manley did this to Mike O'Hara and Kurt Sylvester, who are the Lions beat writers.
Yes, and didn't when you called them, his wife hadn't seen him since the night before?
Well, it's amazing.
And then when they come back from Chicago, they were back the day before? And so now he's got a domestic problem with his wife now?
Well, whatever. I mean, some of these guys just are not real stable characters.
What did I tell you?
And
the Lions do. You know, we were replaying I was over at, looking at a previous guy, Dan Eno's show that the guy that's going to be quarterback at Michigan State. We were replaying the show. It made you look like a fool, by the way. About a year and a half ago when he was on the show. We're replaying
Ron, I look like a fool every time I appear with you, pal.
Let me tell you what you said in the show. We should bring that on here. The Lions are this close to, very close to respectability.
To respectability, yes. I didn't say winning, did I?
Then you also said during the show, during that first segment, that Reggie Rogers is getting his act together.
Well, I've said a lot of things here.
A lot of things. Right. You made a horse's ass out of yourself.
As far as the Pete Manley thing goes, normally, I just want to say again, I wouldn't bring up an issue like this as a guy's personal life, except for the fact that I think we ought to explain to the fans sometimes how difficult it is to get these guys in the show and what they behave like sometimes.
Well, also, you say it's his personal life, but these players make so much money today. They're heroes to the people out there, and their personal life is part of this. And you can
I'm not sure it should be, but it is.
Yes, because of the big amounts of money. If they weren't getting paid that amount of money, that'd be different. But they're making a lot of money. They're millionaires for the most part, and people look up to these people, and they should set a better example. But obviously, some of these athletes don't care.
They're treated much like music stars,
they're
film
spoiled
actors,
brats.
and things like that.
That's what they are.
And so their personal lives do become matters of discussion. Although I try to stay away from that on this program. All right, Super Bowl coming up this week, and I say Super Bowl because, as I've commented so many times before, it's the greatest single sports event in America with so many people watching it worldwide. There's such incredibly intense pressure. Human beings don't respond very well in situations like that.
Also, there's a lot of things that go into that,
games.
though. But I would have to say, one is this 2-week deal is ridiculous. It should be 1 week, just like anything else.
Either the hype that builds
the
up.
hype and the fact is you lose your edge. Because you're so keyed up for the Super Bowl, what are you going to have 10 hard practices? You can't do that.
That could be part of it.
It's not humanly possible.
All right, what are you going to do? What do you pick here? I'm about to provide my service to Detroit gamblers. by picking the wrong
Well,
team,
I'll pick the team that I picked 5 months ago. And I'll go back.
Which one was
5
that? You
issues,
changed
San
6
Francisco.
times during the course of the season.
You
Oh, was that right?
Did I
pick
change
the
it during
49ers at the start of the season? Guys on the crew, help us. Did Ron pick the 49ers at the start? We have that on videotape.
5 issues ago.
I have no support from anybody on this crew.
I'll tell you
no
what,
support.
I'll bring an issue dated last year and we'll say it now.
So you're like the Niners. Well, there's our director, Kenny Taylor.
What's he got to say?
I believe Ron picked the Lions.
No, I did not pick the Lions.
The truth comes out.
No, I picked the 49ers, and I have it about 5 or 6 issues ago, and I'm going to bring the issue in next week.
Do they cover the spread? I see it's gone up to what, 7 points?
I think they'll cover that. I think they'll win by 10 to 14
I hate
points.
to tell you this, but I think so too.
Oh, no.
I don't think it's going to be a real
screwed my
close
pickup
game.
right up.
I think the 49ers
But I
have too
picked
many
Frisco,
offensive
and
weapons.
remember when you said who's going to do in the NFC? I said Frisco's going to win. I don't care who they play. They're going to win it. I told you that all this playoffs.
All right, you mentioned big money theme in sports here a moment ago. Just a couple more things in this. I see Doyle Alexander got a raise for his incredible season last year.
Great
He's now
season.
making $1.4 million. I'm glad the Tigers signed him because the guy's a good pitcher. He knows how to pitch, and they need him if they're going to do anything at all in 1989.
I don't think he's making $1.4 million.
Yeah, that's what I saw. $1.4 million.
you
$1.4 million is the
reported this
number
a lot
that has
less.
been reported. $1.4
Well,
million.
the Detroit papers a lot
And
less.
now it is being reported that when Oral Hershiser goes to salary arbitration this
it's
week, you
unbelievable.
know what he's going to ask? Do you see the figure?
What?
$2.65 million. Here's a guy that had a great season.
You're doggone right.
And then was he 19-3 a couple of years ago? Had another outstanding season, but outside of that, I don't think they're confusing him with Koufax yet or Bob Gibson, are they?
No.
More power to him.
I still say the best arbitration winner of all was last year. I started saying Nate Thurman. I just you don't be confused with Nate Thurman. Mark Thurman doesn't win a game for the Tigers in '87.
Took him to arbitration
and got double his contract.
Yeah, well.
For winning 0 games. Can you imagine if he'd have won 5 games?
There have been some funny awards. All right, now, I want to talk about a serious topic here, which means you can go out and make a couple of advertising phone calls for Sports Fans Journal. That's right. Because I'm furious today over what happened at the Cap Center in Landover, Maryland on Saturday night. To me, John Thompson's action was absolutely reprehensible. The man is a hypocrite. The man is a phony. I'm so sick and tired of these big-time college basketball coaches looking out for their own selfish self-interest and bringing up points like this, the Proposition 48, or in this case, the Proposition 42, and making it seem as though their concerns are for their kids.
That's a bunch of bull.
So the poor kids can get into school. In Georgetown, you have one of the greatest academic institutions in the country with very, very exclusive admission standards. What is the purpose of the institution? John Thompson says, well, if we don't allow these kids to get scholarships, basically what we're doing is we're shafting minority students. We've got to help minority students to get into Georgetown. I have no problem with that because of institutional racism in this country, we should be helping minority students. So here's what we'll do. We'll go down to a couple of outstanding inner-city high schools in Detroit like Cass Tech and Renaissance, and we'll take kids who are 3.3 and 3.4 students who might not qualify for Georgetown. We'll let them in. We'll give them scholarships to Georgetown. These basketball players have only to get a 2.0 grade point average and a 700 SAT.
In other words, you could still be pretty stupid and still get into college.
Do you realize
that's a fact? That's what we're talking about here.
You know, before this Proposition 48 came into play, do you know they dug up Chris Washburn's SAT scores at North Carolina State? Do you know what this guy had on his SAT? 470 cumulative. Cumulative. You get 200 points for
showing up.
For filling out your name.
Maybe you can't
and he had
write,
470.
or maybe you can't print.
So here is John Thompson, and here are people like Judd Heathcote and Dale Brown and Bill Frieder supporting Thompson's position.
Among others.
All the big-time coaches. Why? Because it takes the players away. Are these universities going to go about their primary function to educate students, or are they going to become jock clearinghouses for minor league and semi-pro basketball players?
That's exactly what they are.
That's exactly what they are. And John Thompson's upset not about the fact that these people cannot get into college, but they're going to take basketball players away from them.
Well, what can I say except the fact that John Thompson, outstanding coach. There's no question about it.
I disagree with that, Ron. I
think
disagree with that. I disagree with that. Look at what he did with the U.S. Look at what he did with the U.S. Olympic team. You tell me a guy could take a U.S. Olympic team and do as poorly as they did and be an outstanding coach?
But I'm with you, and then I don't agree. He did what he did was completely wrong. And I think these guys, these coaches, like you're talking about, just out for themselves. And some of these people, I think the NCAA applaud you. Good rule. Fantastic rule.
And yet here was Mr. Thompson flanked by Georgetown's president. The president of this institution and the athletic director in support of him at a press conference?
Why?
Because they want to win basketball games and make money.
They don't care anything about
They don't care about that. If you're a real student, you can't get into Georgetown with a 3.8 grade point average. You've got to have a 4-point. But for these guys, a 2-point is fine because they're basketball players. You want to educate minority students, I said, take real students, not some of these dumb jocks. John Thompson makes me sick.
Dumb is not the word.
John Thompson makes me sick. But you mentioned the NCAA here, and I'll tell you another thing that makes me sick. Dick Schultz's address to this convention last week, out of which Proposition 42 came, Dick Schultz gave the most rose-colored glasses assessment of college athletics, and we're turning the corner here, and cheating's under control, and things are going so great. It's a joke.
It's terrible.
It's just terrible what's happening right now in the game. And 3 days after this occurred, this Dick Schultz speech, what happens? News comes out of Raleigh that Jim Valvano's program is about to have the lid blown off it by this book talking about,
this is going to be an interesting
cheating.
situation, because if it is not true, this guy's going to be a lot of money. There's going to be big lawsuits filed on this, and they should know that going in. And yet some of the players that supposedly, we haven't seen the book, of course, supposedly are in the book, are saying no way at all.
We'll see what happens.
Very interesting thing.
I'm not going to say
Jim Valvano did do one thing. He brought the NCAA and said, we want you to investigate this.
He's got to, Ron. He's got to.
Well,
and then they got to try to cover it up. That's what Eddie Sutton did at Kentucky, and I'm sure they've been cheating down there too. You've got to bring the NCAA, because the NCAA is going to come in anyway.
Speaking of basketball,
going to come in anyway.
Your Pistons now, and the Pistons, Pistons, I should say.
If I can make just one more subject, one more statement on the subject of the NCAA and college athletics. At the time when Dick Schultz is saying what a great situation they've got, we see not only Oklahoma's football program placed on probation, but one Oklahoma football player in the school's athletic dorm shooting another with a pistol. Shot him. You saw that, didn't you? Shot and wounded another Oklahoma football player.
When you got so many players like that, so things like that around him, it's ridiculous. That's a society today.
College sports.
That's a society
College sports is in great shape,
society
ladies and gentlemen.
Too.
College sports is in wonderful shape today.
Society stinks.
What about the
people
Pistons
today?
What about Pistons?
All right, now the Pistons are not playing that well. And you seem to think they can turn it on and off like it was. And maybe you're right for one of the very few times. You say the Pistons are going to win the championship. Hopefully you are right. I don't think that they're going to win the championship.
Who is? They're no great teams. They're no great teams in the league.
I think the team that I don't like Cleveland in the playoffs. I like Atlanta. And I know that they've been up and down. They've been up and down like a toilet seat this year.
I just saw them Saturday night in New York. They got blown off the court.
I know.
Against the Knicks.
There's no great team today. And Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, he's the only reason. If without him, the Lakers could win it if they had an average center. They don't have an average center, and despite a lot of great talent around him, they may not win it because of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who's been stealing money, in my opinion, for 5 years, because he's been done for 5 or 6 years.
I don't agree with that.
You don't have to. You're not here to agree.
This year, it's an absolute travesty. The man has become an absolute travesty.
He stinks.
Last year, he was still ineffective.
He was pitiful last year.
Effective last year.
Listen, let me tell you something. He wasn't effective. They went with half the times down the court. They go to Jabbar, and this guy's a bum. This guy right now is an absolute bum who's stealing money.
All right, now, do we have the commercial ready to go out there, Kenny?
What about? No.
Quickly to the break. Because in closing,
nice magazine. Isn't that beautiful?
Wait a minute.
It's a great magazine. It's better than his head.
Wait a minute. And the reason I asked Kenny to have the commercial queued up was this.
Don't you dare.
Closing this argument, the only thing I do want to say is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is still the greatest player of all time. Now back with Klaus DeBoer.
Can I throw him the finger now? Can we get that on?
It's a new generation of Oldsmobiles.
At Altietree Olds GMC trucks.
Choose from a great selection of Oldsmobiles.
Including Cutlass Supreme and the restyled Cutlass CI.
Or hundreds of GMC trucks in stock.
Complete with an Uncle Al price that can't be beat.
For sales or service.
Let Uncle Al come through for you.
This is the new generation of
East of the Pontiac Airport.
On M59 in Waterford.
If you're a sports fan, you should subscribe to this magazine, Sports Fans Journal, and here's how. Our monthly columnists include Ernie Harwell, George Kell, Dick Vitale, Denny McClain, George Allen, Bob Feller, Jimmy Carson, George Blaha, Bill Gadsby, and a whole lot more. Sports Fans Journal is available at newsstands and bookstores. To subscribe, call our 24-hour hotline at 751-1818. Sports Fans Journal, a must for sports fans living anywhere in Michigan or the U.S. Call now, 751-1818.
I'm sorry, she's out of the office for the day and there's no way to contact her.
With a pager from TCOM, you could contact her anytime.
I know it's an emergency, but it's out of the building now. May I call you later?
With Motorola pagers from TCOM, you can deal with emergencies now.
I'm sorry, our delivery man is on call right now. We won't be able to help you till tomorrow.
Hi, my name is Fred Wetzel with TCOM Paging. If these problems seem familiar to you, then you need a TCOM pager. You'd be surprised how affordable they are. Probably wonder how you've done without one. Give us a call at 559-6826.
We're back on Sports Sphere. We're talking soccer today.
Ron's favorite sport.
Bob Page had been stiffed by so many people on the show that now we got Klaus DeBoer here.
Klaus is here to plug a very important event that's coming up.
Yes, we got a big event for you soccer purists out there, and I'm sure there's a few soccer purists
No,
left.
the purists won't go, and tell them why, Klaus.
Yeah.
The
Well,
purists won't
I
go.
think the purists might go because this particular
You think they
version of
might
the
go? You
indoor
think
game.
they will, or do you think they won't?
I said they might. I said
Well.
they might. Because this particular version of the indoor game is a really reduced version of the outdoor game. We play without boards. We play with fewer players on the field, but basically the game is the same as the outdoor game.
This is an
So
exhibition.
I think purists will come, and I think non-purists will come.
Is a shootout there? The drives the purists right to the bar.
We don't
Not
have-
that they didn't have a reason to go to the bar anyway, but
I don't think we have a shootout. I think if the game is tied, then
Overtime?
It stands. I don't know. There might be overtime. I'm not sure.
is Trevor Francis coming in?
Not to my knowledge. You never
got
know.
6 guys on a side. You're playing indoors at the State Fairground against this Russian team, which is touring Moscow Lokomotiv, okay? And you're going to have 6 guys on a side, but they're going to be playing an indoor circuit across the country against MISL teams.
Yes, correct. We play 7 aside, actually. It's 6 field players.
Okay.
Plus the goalkeeper.
Forgot the goalkeeper, Bob.
Yeah, I forgot
Wake
the
up.
goalkeeper. And they're coming here to play 6 major indoor soccer league teams. And of course, that particular version of the indoor game is played with boards.
Mm-hmm.
The kind of soccer we play here without boards is basically what they play in the off-season in Russia. So actually, we're at a bit of a disadvantage. Last year, a Russian professional team came and played MISL teams and didn't win a game, primarily because they're not used to the boards.
Now, what can the fans expect to see? Why should the purists come out, and what about new people to come out that want to see what soccer's all about because it flopped here before?
Well, we've not had professional soccer here now for quite a long time. This is the best soccer that we can offer at the moment. Young kids, for example, we have 30,000 kids playing youth soccer in the Detroit area. We have to test the market to see what interest there is to bring professional soccer back in.
You know
Detroit.
what brings professional soccer back in and make it?
What's that?
Is you get, number one, you get the high school and you go to college and turn them pro after it, strictly from the United States where people know the names, get more publicity in the high school and
agree.
collegiate ranks.
I agree.
Then when they come professional, they'll know the names
I agree.
because right now, that's why the Detroit Express didn't make. They didn't know these people with the exception of Trevor Francis.
Yeah. No, I agree. And of course, when Trevor Francis left, there was nothing. And then the franchise went downhill.
Keith Furphy, but
Well, Keith Furphy is another subject. But
not a subject.
we can talk about that because, of course, Klaus was an assistant coach with the Express.
Yes.
The original Express with Ken Furphy. So, where are the players on the Michigan team coming from?
well, they're not exactly household names. These are players from Michigan State University, Oakland University, Siena Heights College, and then a collection of amateur players from the local amateur leagues. The backbone of the team consists of players from Oakland University and Michigan State University.
These are our best college players.
Well, these are the best college players. And of course, Oakland University finished in Division II. They finished 3rd. Michigan State has a respectable team. We're not in the same ballpark as this Russian team coming in. No way. I mean, we're amateurs. This is a professional
Do
team.
you expect a big crowd at the fairgrounds? What does it hold, and what do you expect?
I have no idea. I'm just in charge of coaching in terms of bringing people in. That's Roger Faulkner and Gordon Preston's job.
Oh, our
But,
boys, our buddies, Roger and Gordon. Roger from Birmingham.
The Russians are touring with the soccer team for the same reason they're hockey teams. Let's face it, we're just in North America, and that is to make money because their Soviet sports programs need so much money. Why are we doing this? What are you going to get a permanent team out of this, or?
Well, I think we're going to test the market. If this becomes a successful game, if we can draw, I think if we draw 3,000 people, our sites have gone down somewhat. If we can draw 3,000 people, then I think it's been a success for us.
What are the ticket prices?
The ticket prices are $12 and $8.
To get a big crowd, you're going to have to give away tickets?
No, we will not give away tickets for this game. No tickets will be given away at all.
Well, in terms of why,
But the players get in free.
Klaus DeBoer and my friend Roger Faulkner and Gordon Preston won't give up the ghost and admit that soccer is a game that everybody else in the world plays and we don't play. Why you guys won't give up the ghost, we'll find out when we ask Klaus DeBoer about that right after these
Ghost
messages.
around here is you.
great. I want the best little burger in town. Top Hat. French fries, onion chips, creamy chocolate shakes. Baby, they're so hard to refuse. Top Hat. For dinner or lunch, there's a lot to munch. And for breakfast, you just can't lose. Little day, it's Top Hat, Top Hat. Make it quick, stop at Top Hat.
That was me, John Rouser, not too many years ago, as a defensive back with the Pittsburgh Steelers, after my playing career at the University of Michigan had ended. Now I'm proud to be co-owner of the Sting, Detroit's most dynamic nightclub. We've got continuous live DJs, continuous videos, and live entertainment every weekend. But you don't have to disco. The Sting is also a great after-work place to meet other professional people who frequent our lounge. So stop in and see us at the Sting. We're in the old Playboy Club, the lodge at Greenfield, with plenty of lighted, secured parking.
Hey, where's the meat?
It's right here at Cattleman's Meat Center, where you can buy fresh, lean, top-quality beef, pork, veal, poultry, even fish. Packing house style. Save up to 40%. Quality guaranteed.
Where's the meat?
Come inside our 3,500 square foot cooler for everyday low prices like grand opening special, boneless strip steaks, $1.99 a pound. Cattleman's Meat Center, Eastern Market area, and Hamtramck. No limit, save up to 40%.
You said it, honey.
We're back on Sports View talking soccer for you purists out there and not so pure people. We have
Could be a lot
Klaus
of sports
DeBoer.
fans are just tuning in and
Yes.
they want to hear why
Klaus
it is these guys
DeBoer.
won't give it up.
Yeah, why don't you give it up? I mean, the Detroit Express died here.
Yeah, well, hope springs eternal, number one. Number two, at the time the Express was in existence, we did not have a large youth base. Soccer was just coming into being at that time at the youth level. At the present time, youth soccer is the biggest youth sport around Detroit. We have over 30,000 kids playing soccer in the state.
Not more than baseball. Not more people playing soccer than baseball.
I dare say we have more kids playing youth soccer around Detroit than we have Little League Baseball.
Yeah, but they don't follow it through, Klaus, and by the time they get to be adults,
well, that hasn't been tested. You see, around 78, 79, when the Express was in existence, we did not have that large youth base. So who is to say now that these people will not come out and come to the games? You know, we need something for these players to aspire to. Soccer
But it
players
seemed
have...
like before, but people like to be entertained.
Yes.
And it seemed like the purists would go out to see the soccer, and then as soon as you did the shootout, they disappeared. And then you had the indoor come out, and the indoor drew a lot better than the outdoor did because there were more goals scored. Look what happened down at Joe Louis Arena when you had the lacrosse. 12,000 people showed up for their opening game lacrosse because they don't know what was going on, but they came out to see the violence and they came out to see the sticks.
Are you coming to a
What I'm
point
trying to
here?
say is there's not enough goals in soccer, is there? The purists
Wow.
like it, but there's not enough purists around. They came here to get away from soccer.
Well, there aren't many purists around because they're not coming off the boat anymore. So this is all this is all second generation now that's here. So these people are not purists. We don't have to entertain the purists. We have to entertain the youth soccer people.
You got to introduce soccer to the people.
We have to introduce it to them. We have to show them a good brand of soccer, which at the present time they're not seeing. Kids don't have role models. They have nobody to imitate.
Will they see it if you could bring a team like the Detroit Express back? Would they see it when the 1-0 game?
Well, I think once you start knowing the game, a 1-0 game, a 1-0 hockey game could be a very exciting game. I think once you know a little bit about the game, the scoring itself is not the most important part of the game. You can make the goals bigger and make it easier, but I think then...
The nets, you mean?
Well, yeah.
To close this segment, let's say by the year 2000, do you foresee another major soccer league at the professional level operating in the U.S.?
Well, I think we have to be careful when we talk about professional soccer. It's never going to be like professional baseball or hockey or basketball, but I think it'll find its own niche. We need small stadiums that hold 10, 15,000 people.
Low overhead.
Low overhead. And then I think there's a place for soccer, professional soccer. But not at the same level as the three major sports in this country.
Are you talking indoor, then?
No, I'm talking about outdoor.
You do mean four major sports, baseball, basketball, hockey, and football, too.
And football.
An outdoor stadium sitting 15,000 people?
Yeah, I think we need small stadiums. And professional soccer is already making a comeback again on the East Coast and the West Coast on a regional basis. And it's going to make a comeback next year on a regional basis in the Midwest, but it's going to be small time. Semi-professional.
And then the indoor game will still be around, too?
The indoor game is declining right now.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. We'll close it out with Klaus DeBoer, Michigan Express soccer coach, right after this final timeout.
And 2 and 3 and...
Could you save a life if you had to?
2.
Tens of thousands of all heart attack deaths could be prevented
if everybody knew Red Cross CPR. That's why the Red Cross offers classes in this life-saving procedure. Not just at their local chapters, but right where you work. Learn how to save a life. Call the American Red Cross.
It's been a long, hot summer, but now they're back. Jock DeMere's Norris Division champion Detroit Red Wings return to pass for 40 live battles. Follow the Wings through another demanding NHL season as Yzerman, Klima, Stefan, and company again look to be in the thick of the hunt in the battle for the Cup. Join Dave Strader and former NHL great Mickey Redmond for all the thrills, all the spills of the NHL as the Red Wings electrify the ice on Pass, Michigan's cable network of champions.
Binary Computers is celebrating their 9th anniversary, and how they've become one of Detroit's top independent computer dealers is really simple. A great selection of brand-name computer products, outstanding service, and highly knowledgeable trained consultants who make things understandable in plain English. Binary now has facsimile machines and telephone systems, so stop in for special anniversary savings at Binary Computers, Metro Detroit's business computer center, Woodward at 12 Mile, Berkeley. Remember, if you haven't got a computer, you'd better get one before your competitor does.
What do these women have in common? They were all Girl Scouts. Girl Scouting showed them that they could do or be anything. An ambassador to the United Nations or an Olympic champion. Girl Scouting inspires girls to dream big and prepares them to meet the challenges of a demanding adult world. Your daughter should be a Girl Scout. She'll be in very good company, and she'll get the right start.
Sports youth, Klaus DeBoer, the Detroit, Michigan Express soccer coach.
And he's director of soccer coaching for the whole state.
Well, this is going to be a pretty big game you got. You've been practicing already for about 5 weeks. These kids are excited to...
5 weeks for one game?
You know, 5 weeks ago, guys, we didn't have a team. So I had to have a series of tryouts.
Training camp
to look at players, and we've had a series of exhibition games against local teams, some Canadian teams, which we've won. A coach's nightmare, really, to put a team like this together from scratch. So we try to be as well prepared as we possibly can, and as long as people don't expect too much.
Well, how are you going to educate people around here about soccer? You mentioned on teaching. How are you going to do it?
Oh, we're going to have to do it by staging games like we're doing now, exhibition games, and have people come out and have them see a good brand of soccer.
You might have to give away the tickets for them to come out.
Well, we're not giving away tickets for this game. No way. Why give away tickets? We have to pay the Russians to play here. So, you know, I'm sure that Roger and...
You expect to make money on this?
I don't expect to make money on it. I think Roger and Gordon expect to make some money on it.
Oh, yeah, yes.
Well, again, that's January 27th at the State Fair.
What night is that?
Coliseum.
It's on Friday night.
Friday night against this Soviet team, an interesting brand of soccer with 7 men on a side. So, Klaus DeBoer.
You missed the goalie, Bob.
No,
that's including the keeper.
The goalie.
Yeah, but I mean, you missed a goalie last time when you said 6.
Right, that's why I say 7.
Yeah.
Klaus DeBoer, good luck with that.
Well, thank you very much.
Good luck to Roger and Gordon as well. And
whatever bar they're watching the show
from. And we want to thank our sponsors, as always, Pass, the Pro-Am Sports Systems, T-Com Pagers, Top Hat Hamburgers, the Sting,
Is that where you're going for lunch?
Binary Computers, Sports Fans Journal. Yeah, you want to come with me? Cattleman's Meat Center. You want to help?
That's the only way you'll buy when you go there, a place like that.
And Al Dietrich Oldsmobile GMC truck on M59 in Pontiac, Waterford area.
It's Waterford.
Ray Lane on our next edition of the show. We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye, everybody.